The conversation for today is labor related. Now, we cast our mind back to a few days ago when the visuals of the exalted NLC president, the Nigerian Labour president, that's talking about Joe Ajaero, came off while he was on a visit somewhere in Imo State, southeast Nigeria, where it was at some point said it was the police who picked him up, probably arrested. And then there was another statement, the government saying, no, they had no hand in it. But finally, when the visuals came out, it was, well, you saw visual signs of how the Labour president was beaten. Yes, you could see marks on his face and body, and it was giving account of how much he had lost. His phones were taken, his wallet, and other things came across. But then that's not the end. Because as we speak right now, the Nigerian Labour Union, Labour Congress, and the Trade Union Congress of Nigeria would not go to bed knowing that, just to paraphrase the words of the biblical passage, saying, touch not my laborer, that's what has happened. And they would not go down without saying, look, they would shut down the country for that act. So this morning, to help us unpack all of this issue, labor-related, and the layers in this story, I've got Comrade Mark Adebayo, our public affairs analyst, who will be speaking to us this morning. Good morning and welcome to Lagos Talks 981 on Smooth 98.1 FM.
Good morning. Thank you. Good morning, listeners. Thank you for having me.
All right. Thank you so much. We know in spite of your very tight schedule, you had to create time for us. So let's get into this one quickly. What was your first reaction when you saw the visual of the president of the NLC in that state?
Well, thank you. My first reaction was one of disappointment, revulsion, and total, I was aghast at the level of barbarity, unleashed on the NLC president. Even not even during the military era did we have such a brazen attack on the labor leader. Not even during the military era, not even during the notorious Abacha era did we have that kind of direct onslaught against the president of the Nigerian Labour Congress. It was unprecedented. That it has never happened in the history of this country. So I felt very angry, and we are mismanaging our democracy, because you don't see that in the democracy. If it didn't happen during the military era, it's not as if labor leaders didn't have issues with government during Babangida, during Abacha, during Abdulsalam. They had issues with military government, but of course some of them were arrested, locked up.
We remember the famous Pascal Bafiao.
There was not this direct attack against the president of the NLC. Never in the history of this country. It's quite unfortunate. And I think the state government needs to apologize to the labor force for what happened that day. It's a shame. It's a bloody shame in the international community to us that the Nigerian... Look, if they could deal with the NLC president like that, what about the regular Nigerians like you and I? So what happens? So it's quite... it's very unfortunate. It's unacceptable. It is reprehensible.
So take us through, what was the NLC president's mission to Imo in the first place? Because we hear stories that first, he ought not to have been there because it seemed like they were settling this issue in-house in their own way. So there was no need for him to be in the state.
Well, that's why we need to disaggregate the issues.
Yes.
In a way that will look balanced in terms of analysis. I think Comrade Ajaero got it wrong. The timing was wrong. The objective was wrong, because immediately at the point that the labor force, that NLC, had become an impartial participant in the political aggregation of Nigeria, it loses that independent labor outlook. So people now see the NLC during the 2023 election. You could see that the NLC, endorsed Peter Obi If you get until now, if you get to the headquarters of NLC, you will.
Oh, the network.
I think it's network.
Yeah,
Naturally, they have become partial. They have become an interested party in the political process of Nigeria. And then for him to have gone there, people are saying he didn't go there for labor-related activism, that he went there for political activism at a time that you have already come out to support the Labour Party governorship candidate. Now you now went to the state trying to mobilize workers for a strike in the week of an election. No governor will tolerate that. So I think he got it wrong. We should not even try to be sentimental about this. He shouldn't have done that, but not to the extent that miscreants and thugs and the government will take laws of their own hands. They almost killed the guy. But I think this is the time. I think the Labour should now begin to reassess itself about how it gets involved in politics. Look at the local chapter of NLC. They almost like dissociating themselves from him. You know, they were like, look, we are already settling this matter with the state government. We are on the same page with state government. That's what they use. Now, you can see that they are trying to distance themselves from his activities. It was wrong timing, very wrong timing. If you had done that like 5 months ago, 6 months ago, and you know, he's from that state.
Okay, so he's an interested party.
It's an interested party. So at the point they were dealing with him, they were not dealing with him. They were no longer seeing him as a labor leader. They are seeing him as somebody who has come to campaign against the government in power, against the party in power, in support of his own candidate. So he was treated like a politician, like an opposition politician. He was seen as somebody that came to sort of, blackmail the government of the day so that maybe his own candidate could win. So that was why the reaction was like that. But still, I wouldn't support anybody being rough and do that way. It's not. It wasn't a good thing, doesn't.
So it's established here that even if a man has done wrong or been where he ought not to have been, but for the sake of the office he holds on behalf of the Nigerian workers, there is no right to have laid hands on him in that manner. Never.
It's not even about the office he occupies. Any Nigerian should not be treated that way. If you had seen come to do politics and the rest of that, the best you could do was probably to find a way to stop him from getting the workers to go on strike in the week of an election. You remember there was a standing order of court against going on strike in that state. So you see that the government said the guy came to violate an express order of court. So, like I said, when as much as one is angry about the way he was treated, he also didn't do well. That's the state. And this is somebody who's also rumored to be nursing a governorship ambition for 2027. So all these factors, coagulated to work against him. And like you said, is that because of the position he occupies? No, nobody should exploit the position they occupy to foment trouble or to cause disharmony or to cause crisis anywhere. Look, this election period, all the governor who is the party in power, the people that are contesting against him, all of them will not want anything that will compromise their chances in the election. And so, but when you now unleash armed thugs protected by police to go and attack a Nigerian, a bona fide Nigerian, that is illegal, ultra-vires, unconstitutional, and reprehensible. So that is where that stops. So 2 wrongs cannot make a right. That is where the government got wrong.
Now, this takes us to the question of the role of the police, because now it's been over a week since this happened. What exactly, I'd like to get your assessment of the way for a man like that to be so handled and yet no arrest so far has been made. What does it say about the security situation in the state or even in the country?
So in any situation whereby there is a state-sponsored attack, state-sponsored terrorism, state-sponsored hooliganism, you hardly could find anybody to be arrested. They know them, they see them, they could get them arrested, but there will not be that political authority and the political will to do that, to do justice in this matter. So that is one of the disadvantages of our pseudo democracy, because we are not operating full-fledged democracy in this country. Our kind of democracy is not democratic enough. I hope you understand. So in other climes, what they will have done will be to sue Ajaero that he came to do something that is illegal and against express court orders. They will not go and beat him. They will not go and attack him. They will not go and rob. He was beaten up. He was rough-handed and he was robbed. He was robbed. You know what it means when people take away your food? It can destroy your life. It can. All of us now. I'm communicating with you on my phone now. If anything happens to my phone, the log, my data, my secret, my everything about me, my accounts, my banks, everything could be wiped out in 1 minute. So his phones were taken, his wallet was taken, and in that wallet, his credit card was in that wallet. So up to now, I've not read or heard that he has discovered those things, and that's very dangerous. So you cannot, the state cannot afford to be acting lawless. So we must know that the state must uphold the law. You don't unleash thugs and miscreants on the opposition just because you are in power. You know, the people that are in power yesterday are no longer in power today. You also that you are in power today will no longer be in power tomorrow. We must not misuse our position. We must not misuse our authority. We must not misuse our office. What goes for the government also goes for the labor unions. We should not try to blackmail the government into achieving a political end. And that is why, even in the state, there is very little sympathy for the NLC president, because they didn't see him as a labor leader. They saw him as a politician who has come to work in the interest of his own candidate at the detriment of the party in power. And that was what happened. That's where he got it wrong. If I were he, I would not even go near Imo State during this election. Okay. And if you remember, you recall that it is not only Imo that is owing workers and the backlog of salaries and allowances. There are other states like that. I think we have about 18 states that are owing backlog of salaries. There is no election in those states. Yeah. One would have expected him to probably go to that state and do what he wants to do. And you will see that he was not on the same page with the local chapter of NLC and TUC. You know?
Okay, so we just would take a breather here, but when we come back, we'll get to our final round of questions for you, because we know that you have other engagements, but you have to make sure this is also important. So we'll close that up shortly. But if you just joined in, I'm speaking with Comrade Mark Adebayo this morning, and we are looking at the attack on the Labour NLC President, Trade Union Congress, and Nigerian Labour Congress, threatening nationwide showdown over the attack on their president, Joe Ajaero. Where do we draw the line? That we would find out after this timeout with Smooth 98.1 FM. Stay tuned.
Because I know a guy that action is about making things easier for you, please pay attention to this message. If you are asked what the benefits of owning a home are, you probably would say no landlord has no rent. And it might even make it easier for you to plan better, especially with regard to your finances. I know a man who says coming home to his family makes the work richer, easier, and more fun. Now, even though it's been said that home is where the heart is, first, there needs to be a home. If you're looking to own a home, or maybe you're currently struggling to secure a mortgage, then look no further. Stanbic IBTC Bank has introduced a specialized mortgage solution for pension contributors. This innovative product leverages on the new PENCOM regulation that allows pension contributors access to at least 25% of their pension balance as equity contribution towards their new home. Wave bye-bye to those traditional barriers associated with obtaining a mortgage, because you can use part of your retirement savings as equity contribution. The specialized mortgage solution offers more flexible terms and conditions than traditional mortgage solutions, making home ownership a reality for many salary earners. This process ensures that your dream of owning your own home can and will become a reality. Just go to www.stanbicibtcbank.com and use the mortgage calculator right there on the website to check your mortgage limits depending on your pension balance and your age till retirement. After which you can start the application process directly from the website. To ensure your dream of owning a home doesn't remain a dream, contact Stanbic IBTC Bank today via Customer Care Nigeria at stanbicibtc.com to learn more about this innovative product, or you just visit www.stanbicibtcbank.com. For more information, call the Customer Contact Center by dialing 0700 909 9099. That's 0700 9099.
This is Smooth Breakfast.
They offer monthly data follow-through. It's an updated trades. And then what you're doing is they go up. It's our 1,000% products. Let's see the which for. It's
This is only a taste of our next release, suffering and smiling.
The Real Lagos Talk. Only on Smooth 98.1.
The market environment, politically, our society is under development because of an alien system on our people.
The facts, the truth, the news, your opinions.
My one and only question is, as people in Nigeria,
When you talk, Lagos listens because we bring to the fore the top headlines and the daily essential stories about the nation as they happen.
A lot of billions of naira have been spoken for security. Nothing is coming out of it.
We are saying your fault that from harsh economy to trickery politics, sports to entertainment, we talk it all. Whoa. When you talk, Lagos feels your pulse. Lagos Talks on Smooth 98.1, Mondays to Fridays from 9 a.m.
We're Smooth 98.1 FM. It's gone 20 minutes already past the hour of 9 o'clock. Still Lagos Talks 981. The line is being drawn between Labour and saying that, look, the government needs to respond. So I'm still speaking with Comrade Mark Adebayo this morning, reacting to the attack on President of the NLC, Joe Ajaero, and is shed light on the different aspects of the story and what can be done. But now, arising from a joint conference, the NLC and the TUC, they're issuing an ultimatum and they have put a demand across. And if those demands are not met, they say on the 8th of November, they would want to go on a nationwide strike. How can we avert this?
Well, I disagree with that position. We cannot, because of an isolated incident like that, they know they use the word lockdown, that they will lock down the country. I mean, that is extreme. That is extreme. I would never support that. You see, immediately the labor union has identified itself with a political party. It loses that identity of impartiality. So every action it takes will be seen as a political action against the party in power. So if NLC had not come out openly, publicly to support, you saw Ajaero with Peter Obi all over the place campaigning together, on the same. So at that point, you lose that identity of impartiality, that identity of political independence. So you cannot. Then you begin to be seen as being used by political machinery outside of the government to disrupt the government, to disrupt the election, to cause crisis, to overeat the polity. You are no longer seen as a political, as a labor activist. You are seen as a politician. And once you are seen as a politician that has interest, you will become president, you will become governor, you lose that identity of impartiality. And then you lose the natural, the natural sentiment that people that will have, come towards you. You cannot say you want to lock down the country because of that isolated incident. I disagree with that because I saw what even ILO said and all those things. So no, that is not the way to go. You could go to court. to seek redress, not by locking down the country. I think the Labour itself has to sit down and reassess its political alignments to see whether it will stay focused on its Labour activism or it's going to be political. Once you are seen as being political, as being politically affiliated to a particular political party, then it becomes an issue. The sincerity of your actions becomes questionable. That is the dilemma that NLC has now. And they have to do something. They have to strategically reposition themselves and see whether they could be seen to sincerely be fighting for the cause and interest of workers rather than looking for political leverage.
But then again, one would wonder, Labour parties or Labour movements across countries can become political parties. Are you saying it's wrong to be a political party if Labour chooses to be so one or identify as one?
No, far from it. If you look at the Labour Party in the UK, for instance, you will see that it is their what do you call it? Their agenda, the objectives that Labour related. You will not see them dabbling into Labour activism issues, that whether Labour wants to go on strike or for them to provoke a strike or for them to they are here is different. We have Nigerian Labour Congress, then we have Labour Party. Until 2023, you could see that NLC was not involved in Labour, has not been involved in Labour Party since long ago. Since Dan Wanyam was no longer the chairman, the national chairman of Labour Party, before he went and formed the Zenith Labour Party. NLC and Labour have been far apart. They have been operating on parallel lines until 2023 with the coming up of Obi and the rest of that. So you will see that NLC adopted LP as its political party. To that extent, it becomes difficult to find the dividing line between the two. So the NLC has become a political party. So if you're a political party, you can no longer claim to be fighting the interest for the interest of workers. So the government will see you not as a labor union, but as an opposition party. That is where that's an issue there. That's a challenge there that needs to be resolved, but in a civil way. Not the way they went about it.
Our final question for you this morning as we let you go now. This is simply asking, will this in any way affect the Labour federal government negotiating, because we know they have issues on the table still negotiating on?
Already the NLC was saying that it will not go into the negotiation table with the federal government. And I just don't want this issue to be escalated beyond proportions. I think we can find an amicable solution to this. And one of which is that the Imo State, if there will be any industrial action, let it be localized in Imo State, not a nationwide one. I hope and I wish and I will advise and counsel that the Imo State government should apologize to Ajaero. So immediately that one will bring the tension down. Not that Ajaero was 100% correct, but the government was 100% wrong the way they approach the issue. So I think an apology will go a long way in reducing the tension and resolving this. We don't have to go. The economy is sick, the country is sick, the people are not happy, and then you go on strike and then you cause more crisis for the country. So we shouldn't. They should look for his phone and give his phone to him, give everything that they have stolen from him, give it to him, apologize to him, pay his medical bills, and probably do something to ameliorate the something, so that once they apologize, I think that without tension, the government should be mature enough. Ajaero is one of his citizens. Ajaero is from Imo State. So he should just be man enough and say, okay, we are sorry, we apologize. And then we will do this, we will do that. So I think it will be good for all of us.
It's on that note, we have to let you go now to attend to other issues this morning. I've been speaking with Public Affairs Analyst Mark Adebayo, all the way in Abuja, for taking your time to speak with us on Lagos Talks 981 on Smooth 98.1 FM. Have a good celebration where you are.
Thank you so much, and I want to appreciate Smooth FM for always bringing publicly relevant issues for discussions and interrogations every time. You have been pro-people, you have been pro-public, you have been very, very objective in your programming, and we appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Have a great day. And the conversation continues from this